I'm going to be recommending people work with a mindset coach, be working with a personal trainer to make sure that their mind and their body are at the highest levels they can be to take advantage of our solution. So our first guest speaker is Jazz. The first event I had, I remember in my living room, I didn't have that many seats, and I won a giant teddy bear in a game of skill at the fairgrounds. And so I put that down and I was like, I know Jazz is going to choose that as her chair at my first event for sure. And she did. She went straight. She didn't go straight to the bear. But she did end up at the bear. She's got like an infectious positive energy, and I am recommending my clients work with her if they want to. It's money well spent to level up your mindset. I put a lot of work into my own mindset, and I recommend you too. So first speaker is Jazz, and really excited to introduce her. Known her for a long time. What's that?
You think it will work?
Yeah.
Hi guys. I'm going to introduce myself a little bit further than I did earlier. But I first want to put out a disclaimer because I might mention some sensitive topics that are going to trigger a couple of you. And so I want to make sure that you know that anything I say today, there is no guilt behind it. There's no blaming anyone. There's no judgment. I'm also going to use the word trauma, particularly emotional trauma. And I want to emphasize this too. It doesn't mean something horrific happened to you. Okay, emotional trauma can come from the simplest little things that we experience as children that our very immature brains have kind of come to this conclusion, and therefore it's been set in our subconscious and kind of been a filter for the rest of our lives. Okay, so trauma doesn't mean something horrific. Trauma just simply means something that's created a heightened emotion at some point, usually in your early childhood. I'm talking like under 6, things that you guys don't even remember. And as I talk, you might actually kind of remember things you haven't thought of in a little while. So please, there is no guilt, no blame, no judgment on anything I say, particularly because I might use some of my own personal examples, and my mom's in the room. So Mom, there's no blame on anything I say. All right. Okay. I grew up riding. My mom was my first coach. I'm pretty sure I was about 3 months in utero when she bought my first pony. So I was kind of destined into the equestrian world, and I love it. I'm pretty sure her horse greeted me when I came home from the hospital after I was born. So I've been in this for a little while now. I grew up in Pony Club. I did 13 years on Pony Club, eventing based. I was fortunate enough to grow up right around the corner from the USET and had a plethora of Olympic level riders instructing me, which honestly, I had no idea how fortunate I was at the time, but I'm really, really glad that I had that experience. I've always been fascinated with the mind, why people do what they do, why 2 people can essentially grow up in the same household. One can be incredibly successful and one struggles really hard. Why does that happen? So I went to school and I studied psychology, and I knew I wanted to do horses. Psychology was going to be my backup plan after the horses completely destroyed me and I'm riding around in a wheelchair. So I figured that was going to be a really good backup plan. I started my first business when I was 23. I was training steeplechase and flat race horses. I loved it. One of my form of beliefs, and we'll talk about beliefs in a little bit, was that, how do you make money in horses? And so I loved racing. And as a teenager, I wanted to go faster and I wanted to go higher. So this was perfect. And there was purse money. I'd been to shows my whole life, but all I got was a ribbon. They weren't really worth more than 50 cents. I mean, well, if you run shows, they're worth a lot more now. But anyways, in 2020, kind of the universe pushed me to switch back to eventing. So now I currently ride and train eventers and retrain off-track thoroughbreds and do sales. So that was also a big identity shift, which I will talk about later. On a more personal note, about 2013, I was kind of in a really rough place. I was in the middle of this business that I had started. Things were hard. I kept I felt like I was just spinning my wheels in the sand. I wish I had Brian back then, because maybe my life would have been different. But I'm grateful that I experienced all those things, because it did get me to where I am today. I learned about the law of attraction in 2013, and I absorbed everything I could for free on the internet. Because basically what I didn't know then that I know now is I had a subconscious belief that I really wasn't worth investing in, particularly investing money in. And so that held me back from actually paying for a business coach, paying for a life coach, paying for anything for me, because A, I was a horse trainer, so I was poor. B, I wasn't really worth it. Now, all these things were subconscious thoughts that I really wasn't aware of at the time. Finally, in 2018, I was really like at my wits' end. Something had to change. And I came across a life coach online called Mandy Morris, and she has become a great mentor and friend of mine. And I just said, screw it. I got a credit card. I don't know how I'm going to make this happen, but it's going to happen. And I put $5,000 on the credit card. I think it took me quite a long time to pay off. I went to a live event for her, and it completely changed my life. And one of the big things she said to me, now remember, 5 years I've been learning the law of attraction. 5 years I've been changing my life and learning all these things and making myself so much better. And she looked at me and she goes, you're not doing the work. And I wanted to be like, screw you, lady. I've been doing this a long time. And she was right. I went home from that live event and she was right. I thought about all the things I should do because I've learned them. You know, I thought about what I would journal. I thought about how I would shift my mindset. I thought about all these things, but I never actually did them. And I still to this day don't love journaling, but there is something magical about pen to paper. It is a chemical reaction in the body that really helps you make the shift. So in 2018, I started doing a lot of interpersonal development, and that's what really changed everything. Mandy has an amazing program that she certifies her own coaches. I'm dual certified by Mandy in both life coaching and energy healing. And energy healing can sound a little woo-woo to people, but honestly, everything in the universe is made up of energy if you look at it at a molecular level, from your table to your body to your laptop to the thoughts that you think and your emotions. They're all made up of energy. Energy, if you remember physics, cannot be created or destroyed. It can only transform. And so what I'm going to start talking about now is how to transform energy so you can create the reality you want. So let's talk about beliefs. We all have them. Where did these come from? Most of our beliefs, our subconscious core beliefs, were programmed into you from early childhood, from the things you heard your parents say, from the way your parents reacted to you, from the way you were attended to. Do you have a helicopter parent? Were you more free range? Did you have to figure things out on your own? Did your parents do everything for you? All these things, your school, social media. Well, none of us had social media growing up, but still, we had magazines. I mean, you think mostly women in this room, but you think about like the 17 magazines, or, you know, we create all these beliefs and we're really not aware of them. But those beliefs are your filter. They're the filter you see your life through. And so most of the time, they're not serving us any longer. How many people heard the expression, money doesn't grow on trees, right? I remember hearing growing up from multiple people that rich people are greedy. Who's heard that, right? Who here wants to be a greedy person? Who here wants to be a rich person? A little bit of subconscious conflict there, right? So if you have been programmed that rich people are greedy and you don't want to be greedy, you better not be rich. Now, think about that, right? Think about all the hard work you've done. Your brain is actually self-sabotaging you to keep you from becoming rich. Because I guarantee you there's not every rich person is greedy. Think about all the things you can do with money, right? You can create programs. You can, give back to the community, but you can't give from an empty cup. All right. So our reality that we create is really a direct reflection of our internal subconscious beliefs that we have. And this is where it's time to get really radically honest with yourself. When you look at your reality and you don't like it, I'm sorry, but that's what you truly believe. And you might say, I don't believe that. I don't believe it's bad to be rich. I want to be rich, right? Your subconscious has about 90% of the energetic your subconscious has about 90% of the energetic power, and your conscious mind has about 10% of the power, but your conscious mind has like 90% of what you want to do, and your subconscious mind has like 10% of what you want to do. But you're still going to be living your life and reacting through your subconscious beliefs. And our outer world is created by our inner world. We all think we respond to the things we experience, right? What we experienced when we were little, we create beliefs about, and then those beliefs create our world as we grow up into adulthood. So I want to do a quick little exercise with you guys, and we can get back to this later if I'm not cut off on time. Does everyone know what the word association game is? Like if I say green, the first thing you think of. Okay, so when I do this exercise, I'm going to give you some prompts. I want you to write it down, not on your laptops, with the pen and the paper that Brian so kindly created for you. And I want to make sure that you write down the very first thing that pops into your head, not the second thing after your logical mind has bumped in. Your conscious mind has been like, well, not really. Let me do this one. Okay, because we want to find out what are your core subconscious root beliefs that you're not even aware of. So, finish this sentence. Running a business is. Give me one word, it can be 5 words, does not need to be a paragraph. What's the first thing that popped into your head? Okay, next one is horse people. Remember, there's no judging, not even yourself, because if you don't know where your problem is, how can you fix it? To be successful. I know I'm successful when. Money is. Raising my prices will. Remember the first thing that pops into your head. Asking my clients to pay up front will. Using technology or software is. Yeah, that was for you. And the last one, good help is. Now you can take a quick moment, because I don't want to pause here too long, and look at your answers and how many of those answers are actually working for you. Are the answers working for you? No, yes, you're supposed to just respond. Now the question is, look at your answers. And so running a business is hard, right? If you told life to make it hard to run a business, is that working for you? Or would it be running a business is easy? Is that working for you? Yeah, right? Okay, so just glancing, no judgment, glancing at your answers, how many of those answers are working for you? And if you have answers that are not working for you or working against you, Chrissy, I was totally in your boat, so I feel you. Okay, these are your subconscious programs, beliefs. These are your core beliefs. And what I do with my mindset clients is we shift these beliefs on a neuro level. We literally rewire the neural pathways in your brain, and we also change the somatic reactions of the cells in your body. And that's how we go from these intuitive answers to ones that start working for us. That's how we get out of our own way. So, Chrissy, I'm going to pick on you for a moment because you've been verbal. Chrissy is trying to run her business running uphill in really deep sand. It's exhausting, okay? We want to put her in a boat and let her coast down the river. Okay, so moving on. And I was listening to a lot of you talk. And of course, we're all here to learn and improve what's going on. So what are we mostly talking about? Our problems. And I want you to pay attention to the words you use. And throughout the next 2 days, I challenge you to really have awareness of the words you use. So this doesn't mean that you can't have problems, but if you're constantly saying, so yeah, I really can't find good help. I really need help finding good help. Help is really hard to come by, blah, 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 blah. That's you telling your reality to make sure help is really hard to find. Okay, so you could change that to, how can I find better help? Now you're telling your reality to show you the ways in which you can find better help. Getting clients to pay me is really challenging. Okay, how can I find better ways to get my clients to pay me? Right? So focusing on the words you use is incredibly, incredibly important. Because when we repeat the same words over and over again, this is how we got programmed in the beginning. We heard the same things, right? Oh, I think everyone's back. Everyone's back. Okay, y'all ready to get started again? All right, so we were talking about how powerful words are. And Tina actually just shared something with me. Do you mind if I share? No, go right ahead. Okay, so this is why it's so important to really think about your words. This has nothing to do with horses. So Tina was walking around the grounds here wanted to sit in a hammock, right? Tina was walking around the grounds yesterday and really wanted to go sit in a hammock. I don't know, maybe she wanted to read a book or hang out or take a nap. I don't know. So she asked the universe, where's a great place to put a hammock? What she found was the frame of a hammock without the hammock. But she got exactly what she asked for, a place to put a hammock. What she really meant was, where's a hammock I can sit in right now? So as we use our words, be very specific and intentional. And start thinking about replacing things like, I can't do something. Even when you're saying to Brian, hey, I can't do this, Brian. Ask him or say, I'm trying to figure out a way to do this. Totally different perspective. You're going to get a totally different answer from the universe. I'll use that term a lot. If anyone doesn't understand it, let me know. All right. Secondly, the words we use towards ourselves. And I guarantee, myself included, everyone is guilty of saying mean things to themselves at some point or another. And we are all on an emotional level, we are all still our child self now in this adult body. Our inner child houses all of our emotions. Our inner child holds most of those unhealed wounds. Okay? Our inner child wants three things: love, acceptance, and safety. And again, this is a time to get radically honest with yourself, because if you can't be honest with yourself, you can't solve the problem you're facing. This is not about judging what you've done in the past, or judging the words you say to yourself, or thinking that if I've said bad things to myself, I must be a bad person. No, this is about finding the problem so we can work and focus on the solution. Okay, because if you Think about the words you say to yourself. Is your inner child feeling loved, accepted, and safe? And would you ever say that to any of your students? The one person that we always have to live with our entire lives, the one person we'll have to count on, the one person that can do anything for us is ourselves. And that is the most important person to treat well. Now, there is a time for tough love and there is a time for motivation. But how would you motivate your students? That's how you need to motivate yourself. How would you encourage your students? That's how you need to encourage yourself. That's how you're going to help yourself grow. That's a little bit moving on to my next topic is problems. And we've all heard talk therapy, right? We can go to a therapist, talk about our problems. Now, it's great to get shit out. You don't want to hold it all in. But constantly talking about your problems keeps you energetically in the problem. It's just going round and round and round. You just start stirring the pot. You take all the crap, from your childhood and all your unhealed wounds, and you just stir them up to the surface so you feel really crappy because now you remember all the problems you have, not just the main one that's screaming at you right now. And you swim in this problem over and over and over again. And it's no fun. So we stop talking about our problems because no one wants to deal with that. So once you have identified a problem, I challenge you to now find the solution. Stop talking about the problem. Start brainstorming about the solutions. Does that make sense to everybody? The other thing, when we are, nope, okay. Oh, here it is. Never mind. We're good. I have a whole other page. All right. We have two modes. Well, we have a couple others, but we're going to talk about the two basic modes that people tend to be in. Victim mode and creator mode. Your victim mode blames others and doesn't take responsibility. I can't build a good business because I don't have a good enough facility. Nobody ever supports me. I can't do this alone. That's your victim mode. Okay. Your creator mode takes complete responsibility for exactly how your life looks now. Now, we go back to inner child. We can go back to our childhood, and everyone here has had different experiences with their childhood. We're not going to dive too deep into that. And maybe bad things happen to you. And I'm really sorry that if you experience some unfortunate things. And those things are not your fault. Okay? But now as an adult, it is your responsibility to heal those wounds that your inner child, your child self felt. It is your responsibility to level up. And we do this through self-discovery and awareness and healing those inner wounds and reprogramming your brain to look at things differently. Okay? The creator mode takes full responsibility for everything you experience and exactly how your life looks today. And it focuses on the solution and how to change it. And all of you are here. At some point, you got into creator mode because you said, I don't like the way this looks. I want to change it. I want to do something about it. So stay in that mind frame. Keep asking questions. And when you ask the questions, write the question down and look at it and say, if the universe answered this question, would it be helpful? So if you ask the question, why can't I figure this out? I can give you a list of reasons why you can't figure that out. Is that helpful? No, it's not. How can I figure this out? Who do I need to turn to help me figure this out? Now, the answer to that question is helpful. Sort of the same question, totally different answers. One's going to keep you stuck. One's going to propel you forward. And then you have to take action when you get those answers. So Brian mentioned it earlier, right? He gets a client in, he says, here, this is your plan. Brian can't take the action for you. No one can. You have to take the action. And this is a lot of times the inability to take that action actually comes down to a root core belief of lack of self-worth. Lack of self-worth. And this is one of the things I had to discover for myself. I had to be worthy to take that step, because some of us believe that we're not worthy of being successful. Maybe that's because our parents told us, if you do this, you're not going to be successful. How are you ever going to make money in horses? How many people have heard, we talk about it, right? Horse people will always be broke. You can't make money in horses. We do it because we love it, not for the money, right? And we believe that BS. Probably my least preferred phrase in the entire English language is yeah, but. What? Yeah, but. Who's guilty of saying that? You're in victim mode. You're saying, basically it's saying, I hear you have the solution, but I want to stay stuck. Can't, shouldn't, and wouldn't. Or even should. I should do this. Okay? There's nothing you should or shouldn't do. What is aligned authentically with you? What is going to work for you? Okay? I shouldn't have driven 8 hours to Ohio with an impending storm to pick up a horse I was paying $500 for that was running at the bottom, and losing by 40 lengths. But my gut told me this mare was going to do really well over hurdles. And I picked her up and she did really well over hurdles. And I didn't tell a single soul because I knew no one believed me. Okay, especially my sister, because she knew the horse. And I was so excited when that horse ran her first steeplechase race and I got to post it all over social media. But I should not have done that. Never. Okay, some of my best decisions are decisions I shouldn't have done. So trust your gut. Okay, now we get to a little bit of the harder stuff. Responsibility and commitment. The tools and techniques that I teach my clients are so simple that most people won't even try them. I know I was guilty of that. Journaling. Simple. Take a pen, write some words on the paper. So I would do it while I was driving. Yeah, if I was going to journal, I'd write this down. It took me years to buy a notebook. It also took me years to get things moving. Okay? Changing your mind is going to take responsibility and commitment. Responsibility that says, hey, I am creating the life that I live right now. It is a direct reflection of all my core beliefs. That's going to be a gut punch to some people. But the greatest thing is, because it is no one else's fault that your life looks exactly the way it is, you and only you can make that change. You don't have to wait for a person over there to make that change. You don't have to wait for an investor to pop into your life. You don't have to wait for everyone in your family to sit around and cheerlead you and say, we support you. No, you are the only one that can change your life. But it's going to take a little commitment. It's not going to say, take a tool that I can teach you and use it once and say, hey, Jess, guess what? I said a really good positive affirmation today. Yes, that is a great start. Don't get me wrong. And really, all we're looking for is for you to start shifting your mindset 1% a day. Okay? 100 days is less than 4 months. And if you want to do the whole compound exponential thing, it's a lot faster than that too. But it's going to take commitment. It's going to take commitment that when you have that old program thought, that you catch yourself and you're like, oh, that's the old version of me thought. The new version of me thought says this. And you're going to get through that whole thought. And then you're going like, oh, right, I think I've changed it. And go back and change it. And then maybe a week later, you're going to get halfway through that thought and you're like, oh, caught it faster. And you're going to change it. And then there's going to be that one day, and I remember exactly where I was driving down the road. And I'm like, I had this thought and I laughed out loud. I was by myself. I laughed out loud because the thought was so ridiculous to me now. And it used to be so true. And it was one of those aha moments like, huh, this shit really does work. No way. All right. I know every one of you has a great ability to commit. Because most likely, we've all lived several decades in this room, you have been committing to one way of thinking for most of your life. That takes a lot of commitment. Now, can you take that commitment and shift it to thinking a different way? It's like training a horse, you know, the horse that's so committed to going one way. Like, that's awesome. You can have a horse that's that committed, that's that tough to train. That's great, because if you can get them to switch to your way, the sky's the limit. If you can be committed to yourself enough to switch what you want to be committed to, you can do anything. Anything at all. And here's an important part. You're all here and you're all going to be inspired over the next 2 days. And you're all like, I'm going to do this. And I hope every single one of you does. But there will be a time in your life where there'll be people you know, or maybe it's a past version of yourself that says, I'm going to do this and doesn't do it. You don't even value your own word to yourself. Which means you don't value you. So how do your clients value you? So I want you to take a moment right now, in just one sentence, make it fairly simple. And I want you to write a commitment to yourself. And every time you're about to put someone else's needs or wants above that commitment to yourself, I want you to recognize that you're choosing to abandon yourself. Because when we can recognize that everything we do is a choice, we can start to hold ourselves accountable. And when we recognize that everything we do is a choice, sometimes, hopefully most of the time, we'll start to make different choices that are going to lead us on a different trajectory in life. And this is where we really start becoming radically honest with ourselves. Because when you become radically honest with yourself, it is the most amazing freedom you can ever experience. Because no one can rock your boat. All right, I want to talk a little bit about triggers. Because this is going to probably happen when your client comes and basically complains about something. My little Susie isn't moving as fast as she should be, or I don't know. Someone tells you something, you get triggered, you have an emotional reaction. I want you to realize that that trigger is coming from an unhealed piece of your inner child. So there's two things I want you to do right away. One, give gratitude. Thank you for triggering me, because now I know somewhere I can go and heal, so I no longer get triggered. And two, pattern interrupt. Realize that that emotion that got stirred up in you, after 90 seconds, it's becoming a choice. Okay? So someone cuts you off in traffic, you're already late, and you got pissed off, and they're really rude, and now you're in this pissed off energy, and you carry that throughout your day. Well, yeah, sure. Someone cuts you off in traffic, makes you slam on the brakes, whatever, especially if you have your horses in the trailer. Oof, right? And it's going to create an emotional reaction. But after 90 seconds, if you keep holding on to that reaction, that is your choice. You are choosing to give your power away to someone else to ruin your whole day. Ask yourself, why are you choosing that? Most often, it's a perceived reward that you can feel a little better than someone else because your inner child will grasp at anything to feel good enough. Maybe they didn't see you. Hopefully, everyone's fine. I recently bought a car, and 2 weeks to the day I bought it. I left it at the farm, took my truck, went to my house, get a phone call. I just hit your car. It was parked in the barn parking lot. How? Now, luckily, it was just a bumper. No one's hurt. I could be really pissed off about this. I have to go through insurance. I have to do this. Now I have to get the car fixed. Oh, well. So what? Do I waste my precious moments of life worrying about and getting stuck in this "you suck" energy? Why did you do this to me? Why did this happen to me energy? No, I got better things to do. So, looking at yourself every time you get triggered, being grateful that the trigger happens so you know which piece of you needs to be healed, and then going back and healing that when time is right. Another great mindset shift to make, because I know probably everyone in this room is worried or has been worried about it at some point, especially when Brian tells you to raise your prices and you're like, no, my clients will leave me. Let go. When you can't let go or you worry, you're in a scarcity energy. Scarcity energy tells the universe there's not enough. The universe says, great, I will show you there's not enough. It won't matter how much you have, it will not be enough. When you can say, I value my time, my program, my knowledge, my expertise. Remember, your clients aren't purchasing 30 minutes of your time. Your clients are purchasing decades of knowledge. And your understanding of how to implement them so they can learn. Your clients are purchasing your knowledge about how to keep them safe on these big, dangerous animals. Your parents are purchasing valuable life skills for their children to learn in a really fun way. They're not purchasing 30 minutes of your time or 60 minutes or 45 or whatever. Okay, so when you start to value yourself, you will start attracting people that also value what you have. Not one person in this room is capable of teaching every student that ever wants to ride a, right? I think Brian Googled it. There's like millions of people in America that want to ride horses. Okay, so there are plenty to go around. The trick is finding those that are aligned with you. And if you implement a new value system for yourself, and someone isn't aligned with that value system, you don't want them. You don't want them. Let them go. And soon you'll have so many clients knocking on your door because when you let go, you are in the state of abundance that says there is more than enough to go around, and I have all that I need and will ever need and more. And so when you let go, you open the door to let that person out and let all those clients that are aligned with you, your values, your training system, your discipline, your way of doing things, you open the door to let them come in. And letting go of others' opinions of you. I mean, I get it. We all pay money to go to a show to have someone judge us and give us their opinions. Great industry we're in here, right? But no, letting go of other people's opinions. This doesn't mean you can't get feedback. Feedback is great. Clients come to you and say, hey, this isn't really working. Could we shifts things up. You can take that into consideration. Take it into consideration. See what pieces, if all or none, or maybe some of it aligns with you. Be like, that's great. I never thought of that idea. Now I'm going to tweak it and entertain it and da 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 da. Okay, we can always learn and grow from other people's input, but your opinion is the only one that matters. And when your opinion is the only one that matters, you are completely free. Because you are the only one living your life, and no one can live your life better. Even the people that have known you your whole life, they haven't lived your life. They don't know every experience you've had. Not even an identical twin. So your opinion is the only one that matters at the end of the day. When you can really feel that at your core, the power you have to create the reality you want is amazing. And one last thing I really wanted to talk about is, and this is something I usually get into a little deeper with my clients, is masculine and feminine energy. And I wanted to bring this up because I knew I was speaking to a room of mostly women. And this doesn't really have to do with male, female exactly, but your masculine energy is something that a lot of us that maybe didn't have our emotional needs met to the consistency that we needed them met when we were little infants, as one of the reasons we develop a lot of masculine energy. We rely on ourselves. We're really independent. We're go-getters. We're ambitious. Sounds great, right? The problem is most of the time, we lost touch with our feminine energy. And often we get stuck that now the masculine energy is a doing energy, okay? It is a good thing to have. Men and women both need a balance of both masculine and feminine. The feminine energy is that intuitive feeling energy, okay? So you also have high and low levels of each energy. So what happens is a lot of times we get stuck in this masculine energy, this go-getter energy, this doing energy, not from a place of worth, but a place of proving our worth. And when you're doing it to prove something, you are in the low-level masculine energy. When you're working hard and you're getting things done because you're so worth it, you're in a high-level masculine energy. It's a great place to be. It's like going to the gym because you love your body and you love feeling fit and you're so worth having a healthy, fit body, okay? Or going to the gym because I need to look really skinny, and if I don't look skinny and I'm not this way, no one's going to like me. Okay? Two different reasons to go to the gym and get fit, okay? One's a healthy reason, one's going to keep you stuck. The feminine energy, the low-level feminine energy is the almost a damsel in distress. Oh, I can't really do it. I need help doing everything. Okay. The upper-level feminine energy is really using your intuition. And I bring this up because when we get programmed to be in our masculine energy most of the time, and I'm so guilty of this. This is one of my big things I've been working on, particularly over the winter. We lose touch with our feminine energy. And think about when you ride. How many of you still ride all the time? Okay. When you ride, do you not need that feel? Have you ever been on a horse and you're in your head and you need to get the job done and you get frustrated because the horse is just not doing what you want? You're stuck in that masculine energy. You're not even listening or hearing your horse. You're not getting any feedback because you need to drop into that feminine energy. Yeah, sure, your masculine energy is great. I have a plan. There's a structure. We're working towards a goal. Fantastic. But now that connection that you have with that horse is your feminine energy. Feeling their thoughts is that feminine energy. Knowing how to tweak exactly what you need to do so they can understand you better is that feminine energy. So getting back in touch with that, and this will translate to your clients. This translates to your students. What do they need from me? How can I help them succeed? So finding that balance and being able to be back in touch with your emotions, because there's no place for emotions. I got to run a business, right? Is not really healthy. And it's not helping you succeed. All right, so I just wanted to wrap things up a little bit and kind of tie everything back together. We're subconsciously programmed through our thoughts and beliefs. They become the filter through which we see our reality and we create our reality. We've adopted those thoughts and beliefs from other people. They're not ours until we choose that they're authentically aligned. Some you're going to want to throw out the window. Some you're going to want to modify. Some you might want to keep. But you can go back to the beliefs you wrote down earlier and look at those, see which ones you want to throw out, see which ones you need a little tweaking, and see which ones you want to keep. To change our reality, we must do two things. Heal the inner traumas of our childhood and our inner child that our inner child still holds. Reprogram the mind and the body. To do these things, you need to decide to become 100% responsible. Responsible being the ability to respond for how your life looks. You need to be committed to change every day of your life. And I'm not asking for a lot, I'm asking for 1%. Make that shift 1%. You have 100 thoughts a day and you can catch one and pattern interrupt that thought and start reprogramming that thought, you are so on target for a new trajectory in life. Think of it this way. If you fly from LA to the East Coast, the trajectory which the plane needs to take off to go between DC or New York City is only 3%. And if you got on the wrong plane, you know that's a really big distance. Okay, so you only need a small percentage to change the entire trajectory of your life. And if you can change 100% over 100 days, whole new life ahead of you. Be your best cheerleader and stop waiting for someone else to come along and save you. Stop waiting for someone else to give you permission to do it. Stop waiting for someone else to say you can do it. Be your best cheerleader and really be conscientious of the words you say to yourself, because you talk to yourself more than anyone does throughout the entire day. Choose those words wisely. Once you've identified the problem, stop thinking about it. Focus on the solution. Asking the questions that provide answers that are going to be helpful, not keep you stuck. Let go. Let go and know that there's abundance for everyone. Because someone has more doesn't mean you automatically have less. And because you create more does not mean that someone else will have less. Because that can be a real big guilt belief that we have. Well, if I have all these students, what if someone else doesn't have? If I have all this money, then someone else must be more poor. Just bullshit. Sorry. Learning to operate from your high level masculine and feminine energy. Doing things from a place of self-worth instead of a place from proving that you're good enough. And becoming unstoppable by believing that your opinion is the only one that matters. So I got this great analogy. Money is like water. It ebbs, it flows, travels down the rivers, ends up in the ocean, and then evaporates, clouds, rains again, right? And a lot of us run to where it rained last. And we're still dry. And for many of us, implementing technology into a writing business is new frontier here. What Brian is trying to teach you with all of this is to predict the storms and get yourself where the hurricane is going to be. So you get completely saturated. Stop chasing where it went and get ahead of it so you can be the one to get rained on. Now, if anyone is interested in working with me personally, I am offering a 50% discount on my coaching program. I'll go over it real quick. We have time, Brian?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a He made me. I'm going to blame it on him. All right, so it's a 2-month program. The things you'll learn are how to energetically attract your clients without even trying. Once you get into an energetic vibration of attraction, they just keep coming in. How to retrain your brain from being in that scarcity mentality to being in an abundance mentality. How to eliminate your triggers. How to heal those inner childhood wounds so they don't get triggered anymore. So nothing rattles you. It's a great place to be. Trust me, it's amazing. How and when to use your masculine and feminine, and how to stay in a high state of each energy. How to stop chasing your clients and energetically handle all the money that's coming towards you. So here's a big one, because a lot of us have what we call a ceiling. I'm only this good. This is the best I can be. And if I hit my basement, that's when I get myself a kick in the butt and get my back in gear and do something about it. The goal is to have them very close together and have them keep rising. So raising your ceiling, because if you have a belief, okay, let's say, I think Brian always said, you can make $10,000 profit. That might actually rattle some of your subconscious beliefs, because you're like, there's no way I can make that much profit in my writing business. That thought alone is going to keep you from making that profit in your writing business. Or that might feel like a lot to you. You're like, I can do that. And that might be your ceiling. But how are you going to move beyond that to 20 or 30 or 40,000? So getting that energetic vibration to be worthy of earning that much profit. How to start taking radical responsibility so you can become the creator of your own reality. How to start regulating your nervous system so when things are going really well, you don't self-sabotage and create chaos in your life. That's something a lot of us do. I know it's something I did. How to level up to the next version of yourself. So the version you are today will not be able to implement Brian's business. You have to start leveling up. Okay? Because it's a new version that's going to create all this profit. You have to start becoming that new version of yourself today. So for me, and I do these, I call them future pacing visions, like meditations. And I spend time every day picturing my future self. And I get little details about who she is, what she does, what she wears, things she does, little details. And one of the most recent ones, and it kind of looks like a snapshot in my mind, and it can work differently from everyone. And I saw this picture of myself, and I was standing in this barn, this beautiful barn, and it has these, like, the stall fronts are all arched. I love them. And everything was pristine, it was clean, and there wasn't a single thing in the aisleway. And I'm looking at myself, and I did this, started doing it like maybe a year ago, 9 months ago. And I was really skinny too, by the way. It was great. And so one thing I really stuck out to me was my boots were polished in this snapshot of me. I hate cleaning tack, or I should say I hated cleaning tack. And so the key to future pacing is, what's one thing I can implement now that my future self does that I can do now? All right, so I didn't know where I was coming up with a couple $1 million to build this beautiful barn that I was standing in. Okay, so, and my logical mind says that takes time and money, but I could polish my boots. For about 3 to 4 months, I thought, like, you could polish your boots and start becoming this new version of yourself. And then finally I did one day. I'm like, that's it. I am sick and tired. Do not like the barn I'm in. I'm becoming the future self of my future self. Started polishing my boots every day. And I mean, I remember, like, oh God, I've got to go. Okay, no, I'm becoming the future self version of myself. I'm going to go polish my boots. And I did it. Within 3 weeks' time, I got a call out of the blue, offered to take over this an amazing barn. It was in a location I never thought about living in. But But kind of like when someone says, hey, I got a horse for sale. I'm like, I don't need another horse, send me pictures. I said, fine, send me pictures. The picture, I'm getting chills right now talking about this. The picture I saw, the first picture I was sent of was these stalls. It was the exact snapshot I had in my mind of my future self. In the meantime, I also lost like 20 pounds. So I was like, oh my God, that's my barn. That is my barn. And within 3 more weeks, I'd moved my entire business 2 hours away to the Eastern Shore. And I mean, it kind of started because I started polishing my boots. So even though my logical mind said it's going to take you so many years to make so much money to build this beautiful barn, you're not necessarily time away from the thing you want. You're only an energetic vibration away from what you want. So we teach you how to teach your pace, and we teach you how to level up like that. Teaching you how to make your opinion the only one that matters. And implementing these tools and techniques so you can help your students overcome their fears about riding. And other cool things like how to memorize a dressage test or a jumping course, or I don't know anything about Western, but I know we got a couple of Western people in here, and I'm sure there's things you got to memorize for shows and that too. What you're going to have access to in those 2 months is 8 one-on-one hour-long coaching sessions with me personally via Zoom. You'll have access to our monthly group coaching session via Zoom. You'll have access, and I'm going to create one specifically for anyone that's a Brian client, so you guys are all on the same page. Telegram, if no one's familiar with Telegram, it's just another like texting app that you can send pictures and videos and voice record notes and stuff. So we'll have a little group chat on that so everyone can get feedback, accountability, share your stories, share your successes, share your wins, share your challenges, and have direct access to me, basically unlimited. You'll have me holding you accountable, sticking to your goals. And then you'll be eligible for my Mindset Matters alumni program. So you can continue your self-development and your growth and keep the momentum going. Does anyone have any questions?
Investment.
The investment I usually charge for this 2-month program is $3,200. Anyone that wants to sign up today, I'm going to give it to you half off. Anyone in there have any questions about the things I talked about for the first hour and a half? I know it's a lot to digest. Manifest something different. So say that again.
I like really good on, but then quite much
Sign up for my course. So you're saying you're really good at manifesting what you want, but then what you want is not what you want. Here's the secret. No one here actually wants this thing. You want the feeling you think the thing is going to bring you. So you manifest the feeling. You need to get into the energetic vibration of the feeling of the thing, of the feeling that you want. So for instance, you want a fancy car. Why? It'll make you feel important. It will make you show people you're successful. It will make you feel proud of your accomplishments. Maybe it will make your parents happy. You want to feel important. So what are the little things you can do day to day that make you feel important? That's what you want. You do not care about that fancy car. I mean, maybe the truck that's going to pull your trailer you do kind of care about. But but why? Why do you care about that truck? You care about that truck because you want to provide value to your clients to take them to horse shows. You want to provide value to your clients. So Brian is great about talking about money, and don't kill me. Don't focus on the money. Focus on the value you are providing, and the money is a side effect. Brian's program is great for details of what to do when all that money comes in, because you focus on the value you're giving your clients. Any other questions? Well, thank you all. And thank you, Brian and team, for having me today. I really enjoy speaking on this topic. Yeah, I get a little excited. So I'm here all day. Feel free to talk to me during lunch or whenever.